In fields of red, the poppies grow. For those who gave, for those we know. They walked so brave, they stood so strong. Now we remember all day long. Oh Canada, we stand so true. For every soul that fought for you. With hearts of pride, we bow and say, we'll remember on this day. In fields of red, the poppies grow. For those who gave, for those we know. They walked so brave, they stood so strong. Now we remember all day long. Oh Canada, we stand so true. For every soul that fought for you. With hearts of pride, we bow and say, we'll remember on this day. Of red, the poppies grow. For those who gave, for those we know. They walked so brave, they stood so strong. Now we remember all day long. In fields of red, the poppies grow. For those who gave, for those we know. They walked so brave, they stood so strong. Now we remember all day long. Oh Canada, we stand so true. For every soul that fought for you. With hearts of pride, we bow and say, we'll remember on this day.
Today we pause to honor and thank the incredible men and women who have served and sacrificed for our country, our freedoms, and our values. Our Canadian veterans stand as the heartbeat of bravery, resilience, and patriotism. With immense gratitude, we remember those who faced unimaginable challenges, those who gave everything, and those who continue to carry the weight of their service. To our veterans, thank you. Thank you for your courage, your selflessness, and your unwavering dedication. Your sacrifices have gifted us the chance to live in peace, pursue our dreams, and raise our families with freedoms that are all too often taken for granted. You are the quiet heroes whose legacy lives in every part of this beautiful nation, from coast to coast. Let us never forget that the comforts we enjoy today are built on the foundations of your sacrifice. We honor you, we remember you, and we are forever indebted to you. Thank you for serving Canada with such strength and pride, today and always.
Oh, I'm live on Facebook. Don't worry about it.
I want to show part of it. Did you get to see him dressed up? No.
The Canuck Beaver, we're live on Facebook.
Canuck?
The Canuck Beaver, we're live on Facebook.
Oh, sorry guys, if I could just have here.
And he's going to be putting it on YouTube later.
Awesome.
The Canuck Beaver, it's live on Facebook right now. And he's going to have video on YouTube, if we can download the video, we'll put the video. If not, we have one of our friends who's taking the pictures. And standing right beside you.
Yeah, I'll take a video so you can listen to it, okay? We're gonna watch it on Facebook after. So your sister.
See you.
Everybody off the road. Off the road.
Enough?
Off the road.
Yeah, that one. It's not the group, it's the police.
Off the road. You might need a little bit more space.
Here, buddy. No, I got it. I got it, Mom. Thank you.
you have enough room to play. Hey, up on the monument. Come on, right up front. What, did you think you were going to do it from there? Right? Go. At the bottom, the site view? You ready with O Canada?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 2024 Remembrance Day service. This is hosted by the Royal Canadian Legion here in Cornwall. I thank everybody for showing up, and the attendance is it's overwhelming, and I'm sure our veterans are very appreciative of everybody who's taken the time to come out today. My name is Mavis Williamson, and I'll be the chair for today's service. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathering on the traditional lands that have been inhabited by the First Nation people from the beginning. We acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Akwesasne Mohawk and their ancestors. These lands and waterways connect to the vast traditional areas of the Haudenosaunee, Algonquin, Huron-Wendat, and Abenaki people. We are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land before us. As Canada moves towards truth and reconciliation, healing past injustices that took place in Canada's dark history with the Indigenous people, we must acknowledge the wrongs that have been done and work towards a path of coexistence and prosperity. Our centuries are currently in position, and I would like to acknowledge and thank Century Commander Sergeant Loss, SDG Highlander Century Corporal LaSalle, CF Saco Century Master Corporal Monsignor, Cornwall Police Services Matt Dupuy, and Sea Cadet Century Petty Officer First Class Morgan Roundpoint. As the Colour Party has moved into position, I would like to call the parade to attention, and we will then proceed to singing of O Canada. They shall not grow old, as we are left grow old. Age will not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. Sergeant, I'd like you to stand at easy for those on parade. The Canadian Legion Remembrance Day service is held to respect, reflect, and remember the brave men and women who paid the supreme sacrifice with their lives in World War I, World War II, and the wars in Korea, Vietnam, Persian Gulf, and in Afghanistan. We remember our Canadian peacekeepers who lost their lives during military missions abroad and while serving in Canada's defense. Today, we reflect on their sacrifice and the challenges they endured for us. Their lives were not lost in vain. Their sacrifice ensured that we who remain behind would continue to have the freedoms Canadians enjoy today. By wearing a poppy, taking a moment of silence, attending a ceremony, a quiet thought of reflection, we respect, reflect, and remember them. At this time, I would call, please be seated, everybody that can be seated, sorry. I would now call, last year we lost a very significant member of our Legion, Monsignor Mahoney. We are very humbled today to be able to invite Father Reverend Adam Brown to come forward and give us the reflection and be able to give us a short prayer. Thank you.
Good morning. It was one of those chilly yet bright mornings on the 11th of November 2017, back when I was still a seminarian at Trinity College at the University of Toronto. As the head student of the divinity class, I was invited to attend the annual Remembrance Day ceremonies over at Soldiers Tower, a large 143-foot tall neo-Gothic clock and bell tower, and to lay a wreath for our faculty and students. When the time came, I remember someone calling out my name, and so I stepped forward from the crowd, and I stopped. In front of me, in silent stone that seemed to stretch forever, were carved the names of every student who never came home. The great cloud of witnesses whose lives were cut short beheld the crowd of the living who still remembered them 100 years agone. And there I stood, in the middle, as a bridge between the two. These beloved names are the names of beloved men and women from every race, every creed, every background. They are the names of people who looked just like you and just like me, and who gave all they were for a better future, even as the world around them seemed to fall apart, or perhaps to many maybe didn't seem worth saving at all, and yet they knew in their blood and their bones and their soul that this is a world worth fighting for. And yet they gave the world themselves. But just as each one of our brothers and sisters have their own story and their own family, I'm sure the hearts of those who serve in war echo the words of the poet Siegfried Sassoon, who wrote while in the trenches of the First World War, lines of gray, muttering faces masked with fear, they leave their trenches going over the top while time ticks blank and busy on their wrists. And hope, with furtive eyes and grappling fists, flounders in the mud, oh, just to make it stop. And there I stood at Soldiers Tower, looking up. Beneath the names of the battles where they died, I read the words, "Their story is not graven only in stone over their native earth, but lives on far away, without visible symbol, woven into the stuff of other men's lives." Every year, it seems, at least since I was a child, we talk about what it means to remember. The answer was pretty obvious for those who laid the limestone blocks of Soldiers' Tower and hung its 51 bells. The answer clear still for those who 20 years on found themselves again at the sunset of peace. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, made a broadcast over the radio to the Empire saying, "We have kept this day of remembrance as one consecrated to memory of past and never to be forgotten sacrifice. And now the peace which that sacrifice made possible has been broken." The Great War, the so-called war to end all wars, rose from its slumber as the unthinkable Second World War. But even as that war too ended and the cycle still continues with war after war after war, each one falsely promising to be the last, what it meant to remember began to evolve or to fade, or perhaps somehow both. Despite each generation's deepest desire to cease the continual rebirth of war, and despite the growing old of those who lived, this solemn day is increasingly surrounded by a cloud of desperation as we once again ask the anxious question of just how long we will remember them. Perhaps it's an anxiety around doing things the right way, when really it means just giving it our all. Or the way our culture has developed an unhealthy obsession with perfectionism and purity. Or perhaps it's the walls we've built in our own community which keep us divided. But whatever the reason might be, if we choose not to remember as a community, that chance to talk and learn and heal and move forward and ask those impossible questions that probably have no answer, all of that is lost. Patience leads to understanding. Understanding leads to inclusion. And inclusion leads to remembrance. On the other hand, anxiety and distrust leads to disengagement, and disengagement leads to apathy. And apathy, not opposition or critique, because that is still engagement, but apathy is the true enemy of remembrance, the active inaction of choosing to forget. If apathy is the inaction of forgetting, then the soul of a holy remembrance is a living hope that pushes us into a brighter future. To a future which is, as that memorial reminds us, woven into the lives of others, whether it be across the world or the ones standing right next to us. Today we commemorate the end of a war and look to the inevitable rebirth of peace. And so we go from the words of the poet Sassoon in the trenches, crying out for it to stop, to the words of the same Sassoon on the day the war ended and hope filled the world once more. He wrote, "Everyone suddenly burst out singing, and I was filled with such delight as prisoned birds must find in freedom, winging wildly across the white orchards and dark green fields, on and on and on and on and out of sight." Everyone's voices were suddenly lifted, and beauty came like the setting sun. My heart was shaken with tears, and horror drifted away. Oh, but everyone was a bird, and the song was wordless. The singing will never be done. Let us pray. Ever-living God, we remember those whom you have gathered from the storm of war into the peace of your presence. May that same peace calm our fears, bring justice to all peoples, and establish harmony among all nations. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father Adam Graham, for those words. At this time, I would call upon our president, Comrade Marvin Salvador, to come forward and give us a few words.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, comrades one, comrades all. I had a little address that I was going to give you, but I changed my mind when I seen the weather change. Every time we come out for a Remembrance Day, seems like we have a little bit of rain, a little bit of cloud, and I think that's just everybody reminding us how much we have to appreciate what the veterans went through in order for us to be able to come here today and have the service to celebrate everything that they've done for us. And I don't think there's any reason why any of us should wonder why, if it rains, we're standing here, or why we shouldn't run and get in cover. The veterans didn't have that option. When they were fighting for us, they went through rain, mud, sleet, snow, and they didn't know when they were coming down to it. So I thank you, veterans that are here today, and I thank the veterans that aren't here, and I pray for them. And I thank you all for coming out and giving your time to thank them. Thank you.
At this time, I call on 325 Air Flight Warrant Officer Zone Zigerson and 2403 Army Cadet Sergeant Antonis Porkiotis will recite in Flanders Fields.
In Flanders fields, the poppies grow. Between the crosses, row on row, that mark our places, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below.
We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunsets flow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
I would now call on Comrade Heather Judd to give us our commitment to remember.
They were young as we are young. They served, giving freely of themselves. To them we pledge amid the winds of time to carry their torch and never forget. We will remember them. We will remember them.
At this time, we'll proceed with the laying of the wreaths. The first wreath that we will be laying is the Silver Cross Mother's Wreath. There was young mothers, older mothers, and they gave the ultimate sacrifice of their sons and daughters to our nation so we could be free and live in this beautiful country called Canada. I will call on Heather Judge to lay the wreath on behalf of all the Silver Cross mothers. Representing the Senate, Senator Benedict Clement, come forward. Representing the Government of Canada, MP Eric Duncan. Representing the Government of Ontario, MPP Minister Nolan Quinn. Representing the Mayor and Councillors of the City of Cornwall, Councillor Sarah. Representing the Canadian Armed Forces School of Aerospace Control Operations, with Lieutenant Colonel Ryan and Chief Warrant Officer Ansel. Representing the SDG Highlanders, Captain Townhill. Placing a wreath for the Korean War veterans. We have Korean veteran Bob Leonard. placing a wreath for the Vietnam War veterans, Richard Vanette. Representing the United Nations, NATO Cornwall, Marcel Bouchard. Placing a wreath for our Indigenous veterans, President Plummeter. Representing the Royal Canadian Legion, President Marvin Plummeter. Representing Branch 297, Royal Canadian Legion, Ladies Auxiliary, President Anne Primo and Judith Platt. Representing the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Sergeant Danielle Ryu. Representing the Ontario Provincial Police Veterans, Wayne Walker and Ian McLeod. Representing the City of Cornwall Police Services, Chief of Police, Star, and Special Constable Green. Representing the City of Cornwall Fire Services, Chief Stevenson. Representing the Cornwall Professional Firefighters Association, Pat Elliott. Representing the Cornwall SDG Paramedics, James Doherty. This concludes the formal part of our wreath presentations. Assisting with the wreath laying today was CPNAT's Charles Ducheney and Zachary Jones, and RMPNAT's Corporal Dante Bushi and Sergeant Eric Eagles. Thank you very much. As we have been very blessed to receive so many names of people who wanted to remember and was part of our wreath. Part of this service. I would now ask Comrade Rory McDonald to come forward to read the contributors of the wreaths. These wreaths have been laid in advance, and some have chosen to come forward when their names are called. They will just come forward, lay their wreath, and we will carry on reading the names. And at the end, we have an opportunity for anybody who has a wreath that is a personal wreath that they would like to come and lay. That would be the time to come forward and do so. Comrade McDonald?
2403 SDG Army Cadet Corps, A&T DeRose Day Services, Alicia Cassidy, Angela Wilson, Army, Navy, Air Force Veterans, Assam Marc Renault 224, Charlie de Calom, St. Therese, Kamasai 8459, Charlie de Calom, St. Felix, Claude Primo, Tindall, Lanieri, School, Sorry, St. Felix, Legion, and Vocational School. In honor of our following pioneers, in memory of Norman Page, who served as a bench. In honor of General Wilson, Pilot of all the district laborers, all the private Cornwall Lions, all the services, all the professional firefighters association, Cornwall SDG Remembrance, Eric and George Ryan Saraya, Knights of Columbus, Level 3, Chevrolet Assembly, 877. Knobs of St. Paul's Lutheran Church, The Hague and Southern Philippines, Parents of Arabian Wings, 64, Powell School of Dance, RCIF Association Wing 424, Royal Canadian Legion Branch 297, Ladies Auxiliary, Royal Canadian Legion Table Tennis Corps, RCMP Cornwall Detachment, Retired National Federal Employees of Cornwall and District, Riverdale Terrace, Rotary Club of Cornwall, Rotary Club of Cornwall Sunrise Foundation in memory of our fallen, Seaway International Bridge Corps, St. Joseph's Secondary School, St. Columba's Parish, CWF, St. Francis de Sales Parish, St. John's Presbyterian Church, Stephanie Valad in memory of Walter and baby Sally and Stephanie, Steve Taylor, the Curry family in memory of Van Dooms Salvation Army Community Church in honor of the Salvation Army, Walmart Logistics, Wilson on behalf of anyone who has a read, would like to make a meeting this time.
At this time, I would like to thank the Canadian Forces School of Aerospace Control Operations, the SDG Highlanders Pipes and Drums, the members on parade, the 110 Stormont Cadet Band, and members of the Sea Army and Air Cadets who have been a tremendous support to this day. And having youth participating, we are continuing the acts of remembrance. The Cornwall Police Services, the members on Century, the Cornwall Police, who has also been very helpful, the SDG Highlanders for the service, Melody Music for our sound system, Coach-A-Go for community TV for being on site and allowing the many members of our community to be able to view this service, and the City of Cornwall for their tremendous support. We sincerely thank those who attended and to all those who remembered and are watching from home. We extend our deepest appreciation to all of those who donated to this year's Poppy Fund. The Legion is having an open house after the service. Please stop in and enjoy the music by Heartstrings Ensemble, who will be playing a lot of the World War I and II songs. They have been practicing extensively, I've heard. There will be a light lunch. And if you see a veteran in the line at the light lunch, please let the veteran go ahead. And if you see him looking or her looking for a seat, please ask them to join you at your table. The parade salute will be taken by veteran George O'Dare. George was raised and educated in Cornwall, Ontario, joined the SDG Highlanders as a recruit in 1958, promoted to corporal in 1959, commissioned in 1961, and served through to 1965. During his 10 years, he has served as the president of the SDG Highlanders, the Glens Association. He joined the Royal Canadian Legion in 1980, and he served on Zone G4 and was in commander for 2 terms and served on the D6 Council for 14 years, including district commander. We are very pleased that Comrade O'Dare has stepped forward to take the salute whenever the parade goes by at the end of the day. In closing, as an act of remembrance, if you wish, we have 2 white crosses on both sides of the fence, on both of my sides of the fence, and you can lay your wreath on the crosses, or if you have a special wreath that you would like to lay the poppies, please do so at the end of the service. To conclude our service, I would ask everybody to join and stand if you are able for God Save the King. Thank you, everyone. We will remember them. We will remember them. Please might drop the pillars.
Thank you for joining, everyone. We will try to post it onto YouTube later, and we will have photos and everything later. Bye, everyone.